Then he bummed a cigarette and asked me for a light. And the night got deathly quiet, and his face lost all expression. He said, if you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right. You got to know when to hold, know when to fold.
3 minutes past 1 o'clock, the music day of Busy Signal. A remake of the famous one there, The Gambler.
Sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for count when the deal.
Talk on the Block coming up shortly. If another topic of great interest to our listeners, I'm sure.
5 minutes, knowing what to throw away and knowing what to keep. Cause every hand's a winner and every hand's a loser. And the best that you can hope for is to die.
For those of you just living work at this time on your lunch hour, let me say welcome to Q95.
Back toward the window, crushed out a cigarette.
For those of you tuning in all across the globe, welcome to Talk on the Block. It's a Monday in Dominica, the 29th day in the month of August. A very special day in Dominica because we all remember Hurricane David. And so we continue to pray for God's guidance during this hurricane season.
There'll be time enough to count when the deal is done. You got to know when to hold, know when to fold, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money while sitting at the table. There'll be time enough for counting when the deal is done. You got to know when to hold, know when to fold, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money while sitting at the table. There'll be time enough to count when the deal is done.
Of course, as always, we have another interesting topic of conversation for you that is coming up in just a little bit. Talk on the Block. We're just hanging around waiting for the arrival of a guest, and that should be coming up in just a little bit.
I'm so glad that I met you, baby. And I'm so proud when I walk down the street. I know it's crazy to worry like I do, but I get this feeling that I'm losing you. I get these suspicions, even though I know that you love me, baby, and I really shouldn't feel this way. Suspicion. I can't help that you're just so good looking. I'm afraid that somebody's gonna steal you away from me. When I go out to the party with you,
It's 8 past the hour of 1 o'clock, and as we said earlier, today is in fact the anniversary of Hurricane David. 37 years since the storm blew across Dominica, and of course we lost 32 lives. And one of the interesting things in looking back at the historical record of hurricanes in the region is that we've been very fortunate. We have about 6 or so recorded instances of deaths exceeding 50 at different times. Most of these happened in the 1800s. But I was looking at the neighboring countries of Martinique and Guadeloupe, and it seems that they've lost several thousands of people in the hurricanes. And, I'm looking at the 9,000 that was lost in Martinique in the year 1780. Also in Guadeloupe, over 6,000 were lost on September 6, 1776 there in Guadeloupe. So in a way, these countries have suffered a lot more than we have. And something to remember as well, Hurricane David, we remember it here in Dominica, but it also wreaked destruction in several other Caribbean countries, including the Dominican Republic and the United States. In fact, a total of 2,068 souls were lost on that day, August 29, 1979. Over 2,000 individuals, 2,068 to be exact, souls were lost. From that total, Dominica lost 32, but we had several thousand deaths in the Dominican Republic and a few hundred in the United States. So in a way, we still consider ourselves lucky because Hurricane David was destructive, but it was not the most destructive storm as far as destruction, as far as killing people. Hurricane David features as the 18th most destructive storm, the 18th, number 18 on the all-time list. Of course, I told you earlier that the number 1 all-time list for fatalities during a hurricane happened in October of 1780, what was called the Great Hurricane, where 22,000 souls were lost, with 9,000 of those being lost in the island there of Martinique. So in a way, we have to be thankful. 2000 in August 29, 1979. We're standing by to bring you Talk on the Block. We're going to have a very interesting topic of discussion this afternoon because, as you know, there's been a lot of discussion surrounding Dominica's participation at the games in Rio, or its non-participation, some people may say, because there were only 2 athletes from Dominica, well, one from Dominica, one married to a Dominican, taking part in only 2 events. We recall when Dominica entered the Olympic family in 1996 in Atlanta, Georgia, we had really 5 athletes plus a swimmer that represented Dominica admirably in those games in several different disciplines. And this year we were down to 2 athletes, and a lot of discussion, a lot of concern about that. Of course, you would have heard the Olympic officials indicating that in the absence of a track, which we have been pleading and begging for over many years, in the absence of a track, we will not be able to host or to have any athletes of any worth. So someone is on the telephone. Let's say good afternoon to you.
Yes, good afternoon, doctor.
Yes, good afternoon. How are you doing, sir?
How are you doing?
Okay, doing well, thank you.
Dr. Fountain, I heard something on the news today, and it just brings me back to what you've been warning the people about. And I know you must have heard it when Obama warns the Haitian people of they might stop the money transfer to their country because of the money laundering and those things like that. So if it can happen to Haiti, there's a possibility it can happen to us in Dominica, and you know what it's going to do to our family in Dominica if we cannot transfer money to them. And this is what you've been warning the people about, and everybody seems to take you all for granted what you all been saying. And finally you hear that Obama wants the people of Haiti about that fight, and there's nothing they could do about it. The people of Haiti, there's nothing they could do about it if America stopped the money transfer. What are they going to do? And a lot of family depends on that money from their family from America to Haiti, And the other point I want to make, I heard that there was a 85-year-old man got killed up somewhere up in the island. I just want to see who would want to kill an 85-year-old man. And if that man have family and he have property, does somebody want? I'm just saying, people should investigate those things there. All right, so keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully the people will listen and take you all like it is, like seriously for what it is. Thank you, doctor, and you have a great day.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Thank you, and indeed, thank you for bringing that to our attention concerning what happened there with the individual or with the warning from the Obama administration to Haitians about shutting down the money transfer services. As we've been seeing here in Dominica, this is a threat as well that is posed right here in Dominica. We've been warning about it. There is need for more regulation and more control of the financial systems here in the Caribbean.
Don't judge me, full of quality and integrity. Watch how you chat to me, give respect to me, and an opportunity, and you'll remember me. Come make we live up and prove them wrong. I know every youth I got on gunman, don't give up. Get a youth be strong. The whole of we are star, we are born champion. Live up and prove them wrong. Every ghetto girl get your education. Don't give up. Get a youth be strong. We got to make the change and lay the foundation. At a young tender age, Babylon lock we in a cage. Want turn you in a mental slave. Who no mad, them put down in a grave. But them can't get you out in a this young time. We no hype but you proud, not commit no crime. And I know we gonna live it up right. Come make we live up and prove them wrong. I know every youth I got on gunman, don't give up. Get a youth be strong. The whole of we are star, we are born champion. Live up and prove them wrong. Easy get a girl, get your education. Don't give up. You'd be strong. We've got to make the change and lay the foundation. Like we for fool and them ridicule.
Yes, indeed. For all the young people of Dominica, you need to be strong. You need to hold on. We are talking there about the Olympics and the need to have more of our athletes represented there at the Olympics and what can be done. And we were hearing from the officials in the Olympic Committee, and in fact it's something that we've been working on for over 20 years. When I was in track and field many years ago, trying to get an all-weather track in Dominica. It has not yet materialized, but in the absence of a track, we are not going to see athletes from Dominica participating unless, of course, those athletes get an opportunity to go overseas. And that's what we're talking about this afternoon in the wake of the Rio Olympics and in the other Olympics coming up in 2020 in Tokyo, Japan. We want to see a greater representation of our athletes, and we have an excellent program. We have somebody in studio today who is no stranger to us here, Mr. Mikey Pascal from the America Development Committee. And when last we were there, we talked about this boarding school program, and he was just telling me that obviously after being on the big station, that within a matter of days the program was filled. So he's been oversubscribed for that program, which is really good news there. So a lot of young people getting an opportunity to go overseas and to further their studies. Well, we're talking in a similar vein, but with a slightly different program. This one focused on getting quality athletes into schools in the United States. So let me say good afternoon to you, Mikey, and thank you again for another excellent program. The last time we were there, we talked about the academic aspect, where you only had you're looking at people or students who wanted to go into boarding school as a stepping stone to higher education. Now we're talking about a program that you've started with the America Development Committee, where you have athletes going to the United States to attend school. Can you tell us more about this?
Okay, good afternoon, Thompson. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me here again. Saying good afternoon to all those listening and here in Dominica and overseas. The last time I was here, we discussed the boarding school program. We have three programs which form part of the study abroad of the Marigot Development Corporation, MDC. The boarding school program was one. We have the athletics program, and we have the SAT program where we offer SAT classes to persons who are interested in studying in the U.S., attending colleges for the undergraduate program. I have to say, yes, the boarding school outreach must have been pretty successful. The interest was very high. We've not been totally oversubscribed. I think we have about 4 places left. So if there are any ones out there who are looking for the unique opportunity of the boarding school as an avenue to get into university, we still have about 4 places available for those looking to start in August 2017. Our 6 students for 2016 have all left Ireland and have settled in nicely into the boarding school program, and we want to wish them all the best. The other program which we have started around 4 years ago was the athletic scholarship program, in which we look to leverage sports skills to get an education. Because for us, the central force was the education. Okay, the other things, the education was a way to improve your economic situation, and athletics was a means to an end. So we look to athletics as sort of your calling card to get you into a college and university on scholarship, because we deal with people who are not in a position to pay 30, 40, 50,000 US a year for university, and the issue there is, what do we have? What do students have in Dominica that can allow them to enter those colleges and universities on scholarship? And the athletic potential was one of the things we saw, and we started the program. Our first student to enter the program was Chelsea Linton of Marigot, and so far it has been pretty successful, delivering what we had promised. Okay, we promised that with your athletic ability, you should be able to get a scholarship all the way through to university if you work hard and you're serious about it. So we're happy to report that Chelsea has graduated from Essex Community College in New Jersey with an associate degree, and has now moved on to the University of Missouri, Missouri State University in the U.S. on full scholarship. And we're hoping and praying that she will be as successful. So for us, that tells us that, like Jamaica, who has been doing this for a long time, and some Dominican students, we can name a few, Jerome Romain and others, who have used sports as a vehicle to get in a higher education, and therefore as a vehicle to improve economic ability. So it's possible, it's there, and we continue to do it, and we are inviting sports persons, especially track and field persons, young persons in Dominica, to look at the possibility. We're also appealing to coaches, to clubs, to take this seriously. I think coaches and clubs are doing the young persons a disservice by not looking at sports and the whole sports and education together. Because too many of the young persons with talent are not even aware of those possibilities that exist out there. I remember speaking to Jerome Romain some time ago, and he was saying that he is surprised that up to today, when he contacts Dominican athletes, they do not know what the SAT is. And for 2016, for athletes looking for the opportunities in the US, you cannot not know what the SAT is. The SAT is the standard admission test that for persons looking to study in the US, for athletes looking to avail themselves of opportunities in the US, you must have your SAT scores. So we at the MDC, we offer SAT prep classes for athletes, for students looking to avail themselves of opportunities in the US. If you're an athlete, you cannot get cleared by the NCAA clearinghouse unless you have your SAT scores. Recently, I got called by a young guy, and he was saying, well, he wanted to go to the US, to start to study now. I'm saying, no, you cannot go you cannot get an athletic scholarship unless you do the SAT. All right, then I have to explain to him. I mean, he's been to high school, he's been to college. What exactly is the SAT, and why is it so important that you do the exam so that you can get considered for scholarship, for athletic scholarships in the US? I mean, I also was speaking to Wice out of Portsmouth, and he's having the same issues where persons with good talent in basketball have not yet sat the SAT. So you find people who are wasting a year or maybe more, because at the time when they are looking to be considered for entrance into colleges and university, they have not yet done the SAT. Right? So this is an appeal from us to the young persons who are looking to avail themselves of athletic scholarships into the US, right? That they must seriously consider taking the SAT exams, whether you take the preparation with us or you just do it on your own or whatever, that you need to look at it and look at it seriously, so that you can position yourself, to get those scholarships.
Okay, Mikey, I'm glad you made that distinction, or you made it very clear up front, because that is something, as you said, that even if the young person has the athletic talent and ability, and if they could get into the school based on that, but if they don't have this exam down, if they don't pass this exam, they really cannot have access to the school.
The schools, I mean, they're asking you for that up front. Even if you're looking at a college or university, you must have it. If you're looking at a junior college, you may be able to get in without it, sit the entrance exam for the junior college, all right? But you must have it when you go into the clearinghouse, because from the junior college to the NCAA, you have to get through the clearinghouse, right? To get cleared, you need to show SAT scores.
Okay, so that's on the academic side of it. With regards to the athletes and their athletic ability, what do they need to demonstrate to be a part of this program?
Well, we look at athletic skill. We look at the athletes, and we then look at, say, recent NJCAA meets. Then we can see where the athletes are compared to where the competition is. All right, because for you to get a scholarship, I mean, you have to be a little better than average to be able to qualify. So we look. You say, if you come, you say, well, you do 100 meters. Okay, we ask you, what's your time? At what event do you get that? And then we look to see, how do you compare, okay, to what is available there. And then we reach out to our people, whether it's past Dominican athletes or who are now coaches or in administrative positions at universities and colleges, or whether it's to our Jamaican colleagues, because we have developed some contacts with coaches and sports people of Jamaican descent but in the US system, who we could then reach out to. Okay, I mean, up to over the weekend, I had a call from a coach out of the university, and he's looking for a certain kind of talent. But he's looking for, sports talent with strong academic background. I mean, we didn't have those available. So, but
is it that we don't have, or is it just that the students are not aware? Because we have bright kids here who do track and field in Dominica.
Well, those I was aware of. Okay, mm-hmm. I mean, even for our program this year, our athletic scholarship program, there's no one who's going this year.
Oh, wow.
All right, because we couldn't find the athletic talent and the academic talent together to make it happen. So, this was a disappointing year for us. I'm hoping that we pick it up next year, that we can do much better. But this year we have no athletes who are going, who can meet the requirements of both academic and athletics, all right, to be able to avail themselves of scholarships. But we're getting calls from coaches who are looking to fill spots, who are looking for students, and I'm sure the same thing happens for Wice in Portsmouth, who has been doing a great job in basketball for a number of years. And the issue for him is the same as the issue for us, in that we need to marry both the academic and the sporting skills together to be able to fill those positions and, hopefully to get some representation, in Tokyo and beyond.
Yes, and and I can't overemphasize how critical it is for just that aspect of it to get the athletes, as the Jamaicans have showed us. Let's take this call. We have a caller who wants to weigh in. Good afternoon, caller. Hello, good afternoon. Okay, I don't think the person is able to hear me. Can you hear me, caller? Okay, we seem to have not lost the caller, but it's not going through. Okay, but as I was saying, and we'd ask the caller to please try again. It would be good if you could try calling us back on this, because let's try it this time. Good afternoon, caller. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on.
Hello.
Yes. Okay, caller. Yes.
This is Clayton. I don't know what the problem is with the phone lines, but
okay. Well, I'm glad that we're able to hear you, Clayton. Good afternoon.
Look, I am listening to this discussion here, and I think, of course, it's tremendously important to give the information to the public, and especially to the youth who have talent of some kind. But let me make this observation. It doesn't matter what field of endeavor in this country that we are engaged in. Opportunities are available, but very often our people are not prepared. You cannot be successful in any venture if opportunities are available, if there is not appropriate preparation. Somewhere along the line, we have to begin to put the emphasis on the preparative phase of any activity at all. It doesn't matter whether it is sport, or it is tourism, or it's agriculture, or whatever it is. The other aspect, I think, regarding the preparation in respect of doing the SAT, I'm sorry to say, Thompson, and your person with you there, that very often our young people hesitate, even adults hesitate, to do tests. There is a kind of a psychology that I am terrified about going in there, because maybe I will fail, and failure means shame. Now, why we have that in our culture, I have no idea, but that is there, and it interferes with our capacity to be competitive. And we just have to stop and get away from that and decide that we must go in and put our best effort and get rid of this idea of fear of test, fear of this and fear of that. It's just not a good idea. The society is saturated with this kind of thing. And even people who are intelligent and knowledgeable in this country, they will not participate in normal societal and economic discussion because they are terrified that something is going to happen if they say A or B or C.
That's very true, Clayton, and in fact, that is something that we have to work on, as you said, and it starts with working in the schools and giving them the correct information. So very early on, they know that is what they need to achieve. That's how they need to go if they want to move, to actually move forward.
But sometimes, Thompson, unfortunately, we even have to push people, from behind for them to get into something because they don't really want to do it on their own.
That's correct. You're saying, Mike. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very much, Clayton. We appreciate that input there. And isn't that so true, Mikey, that sometimes people need that extra push, because it seems to me that there are opportunities out there. And we are all proud of the Jamaican team. We look at Jamaica and their performance at the Olympics. But it is almost like every single Jamaican knows what they have to go through. And a lot of them end up at US schools on scholarships, and then they get the necessary trade and so on to perform. Well, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk on the Block.
Good afternoon, Dr. Thompson Fontaine.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mikey Pascal.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I just want to congratulate you. The job well done, and to let you know, keep that fire burning. Your results, I'm sure you have seen, as you just mentioned, Chelsea, and I know there are others that are upcoming. I just want to ask a question though. How do you actually go about scouting for these individuals? Because I think this program, as you said, has been around for a little bit and so on. But I think now it's getting a little more publicity, I must say. But how would you go about scouting for these kids? Because I know of two young men now that I know that their athletic skills are way up there, and their academic skills should be also there. So I think maybe they not being aware of what they have to do. Apart from hearing it now, I just wanted to know that if it is something that you have at the various schools, and they contact you or whatever it is. So I just want to say a good job and keep burning the fire, Mikey.
Okay, thank you very much, caller. We'll let Mikey answer this after we take this caller. Good afternoon, caller. Welcome to Talk on the Block.
Good afternoon, Mr. Fontaine.
Yes, good afternoon, sir.
Important topic, and I really wanted to weigh in on the topic of this morning. I really thought that this topic of this morning could be rebroadcasted at some point this evening. And, maybe my intervention or my whatever I had to say would maybe be 2 weeks, Mr. Fontaine. So I do not know when, again, that you will be having a program about Bird Island or Bird Rock. I'll be very much interested in finding out so that I could pay attention and maybe wait.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that. We, as I said, this one was the first in many that we plan to have. Also, we will be doing town halls, the whole works. We're putting together a group of people that can really carry this thing forward. And it's a fight, and we are going to move forward. So we'll try our best to rebroadcast, also make it available online as well, so that we can listen to it at their leisure. But it's something that we plan to definitely pursue.
Well, let me just jump in this, Mr. Fontaine. We are there. I was listening this morning, and somebody was talking about Montserrat was so close, and wherever else was so close. But you see, nobody spoke about Martinique. How could Venezuela cross Martinique boundaries west, and we have boundaries east and west, and claim Bird Rock? This is one of the things I wanted to put on the table. We will get to that another time, all right?
Yes, we will. I mean, there's a simple answer to that. I can probably just tell you, the fact of the matter is Martinique and Guadeloupe are not sovereign countries. So that's the reason why.
Oh, but then so they do not have 200 miles to the east and to the
right, exactly.
Okay.
They don't have the same. Dominica is the closest sovereign country because although Montserrat is closer, but the claim is for Dominica because we are the sovereign. Montserrat is not, Dominica is.
But Mr. Function, I'm still saying, how could they cross St. Lucia and Grenada and St. Vincent's boundaries west?
Yes.
Claim Bird Rock, that's my problem.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, because they're all the way Yeah, very good question indeed. Right. Okay, well, thank you very much, caller. And I know, Mikey, you have a question to answer about how athletes get in, but we have some more calls. Let's take those. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Okay, my name is Maggie.
Hi, Maggie. How are you doing?
Yeah, I would like to have get contact with your guest.
Yes, we are going to give you that information because I suspect you have a couple athletes for him, right?
Yes, and like the guy said previously for the one before that one there, that is about how do you go about recruiting?
Recruiting, yes, and the information, yes.
But I know a lot of athletes who have the athletic ability and the academics as well. And of this one with at least 9 ones and 2 twos, and she, you know what I mean?
Oh wow. Okay, well, you need to be talking to Mikey. You need to be talking to Mikey this afternoon. Certainly, he will be happy to have the information. So just hang on. We will announce the phone number to contact him in just a little while. Okay.
All right. Cool.
All right. Thanks a lot. Let's take some more of your calls. Good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon. Very good program. I just wanted your guest to shed some light on the academic part of it, because I know there are a lot of young people, they have a lot of skills, but when it comes to the education part of it, they may be lacking in that area, and he wants to, marry the two. well, what level of education are you looking at? Is it A level? Should they go to college in Dominica or high school? If you have a high school dropout, maybe in third form, and they have that skill, what sort of education level are you looking at? Because that's very important.
Okay, thank you very much, caller.
From that.
Excellent, thanks a lot. Yeah, appreciate it. Yes, Mikey.
Okay, what I'll do, I'll start with ladies first. Last one first. In terms of the level of education, we are looking at high school graduates. Okay, for a number of reasons. In the U.S. system, you have 4 years of eligibility post high school for NCAA or to get into the system with scholarship and so on. So you have four years of eligibility post high school. So we do not like the kids to go into like state college because then they use up 2 years of eligibility, which then makes them kind of unattractive for schools to recruit and invest. Okay, so in terms of level of education, you need to graduate from high school. Okay, so that's your basic. You need your high school, be able to show your high school graduation certificate. Okay, so that is the level.
So that's the minimum requirement.
That's the minimum required.
High school graduation, and then you have to sit the standardized test to enter any college in the United States.
You have to sit this standardized test. It's not required to enter all, say, the junior colleges. Okay, but you will need to have it, say, 2 years after when you are getting cleared to enter the NCAA.
Okay. So, Mikey, are you looking at students then, if there's an exceptionally good student in athletics who does not have the SATs, will you still accept them, but for a junior college?
Yeah, we would look at them for junior college, but we'd advise them to sit the SATs.
Nonetheless.
Okay. So sit the SATs nonetheless, because schools will ask you for it.
Okay.
Depending on how you score on the SAT, then you don't have to do the entrance exam for the junior colleges. Okay. So we recommend that you sit the SAT. Try to see how high you can score. All right, because if you have a good enough score, that means you don't have to sit the entrance exams, and you will need the score anyhow. For you to get cleared by the clearinghouse for NCAA to get scholarships to university, because our aim basically is to get you an education using the talent that you have, that you can get that education at minimal cost. I mean, in the end, that is what we're about. Okay, so in terms of education level, that is what we need to graduate from high school. In terms of, I think Wayne asked a question about scouting. We will focus basically on athletics, on track and field, because that was the easiest one to work with. And I would work with, initially we started off working with Westmore Rangers. Initially when we started, we had a session for coaches all over the island. We invited coaches from all over the island, and we had some coaches via Skype from the US doing an intervention in a session. So that's how we started the program. But the uptake was very low. I mean, only one coach showed up, and that's why I make the appeal for the coaches, to get with the program, for the clubs to get with the program, to try to get the young persons, access to education, because their talent. I hear there are some great young soccer players. Well, they told me football at the grammar school. I mean, those are the kind of students who could access, because football or soccer, as they say in the US, there's a high demand for football players by colleges and universities, especially female soccer players or football players. So the scouting, I mean, we ask around, we speak to coaches, I speak to associations. I mean, I've spoken to the Football Association people when there was a school which was looking for soccer players to go to colleges in the US. In terms of
Mikey, just on this point, about the soccer players, I recall a few years ago when Dominica played against Mexico, there were several young players on that team, on the Dominica team, and I made representation to several schools in the US that were very much interested in those players. But again, when it came for the academics, I could not get them in. But these were national level players. in their 18, 19, 20 who could have succeeded very easily at the college level in the United States, but because they did not have the necessary academics, then that kind of fell through.
That was the point I was coming to know. Dr. Schillingford, I don't know if you call it, Dr. Schillingford raised the issue of preparedness. Okay, that is where what you thought, the preparedness of the athletes, of the sports persons, from home, through the clubs, from high school. I think, gone should be the days, because a lot of the athletes are not performing well at school. Okay, maybe that shouldn't be a blanket statement, but say some of the athletes we see, they are not in the best academic shape. And, it's incumbent upon, I think, the education system, to make sure that if additional, classes are required for those, because that is talent we can nurture both for our country and for the individuals. And the other thing we have happening, used to happen when I was in grammar school. If you went to play for the school and you missed the class, that was it. Who is taking care of the athlete who goes out? I remember fellas like TK and so who used to go overseas to represent Dominica all the time, missing a ton of classes. Who is looking out for the athlete? Who is looking out for the sports person who goes out to represent the island and the school to make sure that those students are getting the academic stuff which they are missing when they represent the school? If you have a student representing the school, say in 3 or 4 events, that student could end up missing a lot of school. And then, what happens? So I think in the whole education, the whole sports thing, we need a paradigm shift. We need to look at education, look at sports again, and to see what it is that we want sports to do, and what it is that it can do. What can that asset which young people have, what can it do for them, what can it do for their family, and what can it do for the country?
And Mikey, I am guessing that in the schools currently we have a coach or somebody that looks out for the athletes, right? I'm thinking in terms of your program, making contact with this key person that can then, identify even when the person is in third form, for example, and have already shown some athletic talent, to target these people so that they know in 2 years' time that is what they want to do. But kind of, targeting individuals early enough, because already if you're in a second foot form, you're already showing some tendency to be a good athlete, to be a good football player, to be a good athlete. And I think that, getting I don't know if they call them sports teachers or coaches, I still don't understand why every school does not have a coach for each discipline in Dominica, but that's what we have.
It needs a national effort. So, unless it happens, we're just asking the individuals, the parents, who identify the talent and so to work with their kids and to see what you can do.
Okay, let's take more of your telephone calls. Good afternoon. Welcome to Talk on the Block.
Hi, Thompson.
Yes, Clinton.
I'm back again.
Sure.
You remember back in the grammar school, we used to have a sports day. I don't know what has happened to that tradition of having a sports day. Students of the grammar school were able to compete and to learn the various skills in the track and field and the pole vault and the high jump. We had a cricket field. Norbert Phillips, when I was sports master at the grammar school, he learned to bowl on that pitch at that time. I am going to repeat what I said before. The preparative phase of all of these matters is very critical, and unless you get people up to a level of preparation, it doesn't matter what opportunity you present to them, it is not going to work. So we have to put the focus now on the preparation phase, whether it is a preparation in terms of the amount of time you spend to prepare and improve your skills, or it is the part of the preparation that requires you to go in and do the SAT. I understand that there are various people, for example, in the government who have positions to take care of sports. What do they do? What is their function? What kinds of persons do they bring up to the level where we can say, well, look here, this person is prepared now to grab an opportunity that is available? I have to say, quite honestly, I have no knowledge whatsoever that the people who are the sports coordinator, whatever the official position is, I don't know what they do. Somebody might be able to inform me. All right,
all right, thank you very much, caller. Let's take a couple more calls and then we'll get you to respond. Mikey, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I got one question. We saw in the recent Olympics, the Fiji, the country, the island, took a sport that is not generic to their country, which is rugby, and they were able to get the gold medal in that event. So my question is, from island of 365 rivers, do we have any foresight or any plans to introduce swimming to our athletes with hopes of probably getting into the Olympics in the future?
Okay. Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, caller. I know our very first Olympics, we actually had a swimmer. But again, how do you maintain it? Because you need the facility. We do not have a pool, and 50-meter pool. You need that as a start, and it comes back again to the facilities and the preparedness that Dr. Shillingford has been talking about. How do we get our athletes prepared with those facilities? I mean, see how long we've produced top athletes, yet we cannot get an all-weather track. And I heard the official from the Olympic Committee saying what is needed now is land. There are countries saying, look at track, take it, and we cannot take it because we don't have land from the government. Well, we get land to do all sorts of nonsense and foolishness in this country. So it's a question of priority. It's a question of what we really want, how we want to see our country, move. And I think that is something that, we have to keep working on. Now, Mikey, I wanted to respond to the earlier callers, but before you do, let's just take a quick break for our sponsors, and then we'll be right back.
This is an important message from the Health Promotion Unit, Ministry of Health.
Storing medication. Before hurricane, prepare a detailed list of your prescription medications. Keep it with you inside a waterproof zipper bag.
To learn more, call your healthcare provider.
Say hello to Flow, a powerful network that connects you to your world like never before. Experience a world-class mobile network and the fastest internet speeds. Express yourself, connect, say hello to your world.
This is how we bond. This is how we share. Let the whole world know. This is how we flow.
Come in, call, or visit us online at discoverflow.co.
Back to school time is here, and you don't have to break the bank to get all that the kids need. Shop at Save-A-Lot HBC, offering the best quality at the best prices, giving you great value for every dollar spent. Go back to school the Save-A-Lot way with all the great gear you need. Save-A-Lot, where back to school savings is made easy every day.
Get prepared for the hurricane season. Store at least 3 days drinking water and food. Stock up on batteries for radios and flashlights. Clear your yard of all tall trees and potentially harmful debris. Fill all important prescriptions and keep important medications secure. Ensure that you fully charge your digital phone and have a fully functional car charger. A message from Digicel and the National Disaster Preparedness Office.
We're going back to school.
That's right. Starting Friday, August the 25th till Wednesday, August 31st. Shine Union Dominica has everything you need with a 20 to 30% discount on selected items for back to school. Things like sports shoes, socks, and school shoes, all black. Assorted juice bottles, snack bags, and carrot school bags. Also, school stationery and exercise books. Shine Union back to school sale plus new arrival. Also available are tents or camping, storage containers, folding tables, living room sofas. That's right, living room sofas. Shine Union back to school sale plus new arrivals. Starting Friday, August the 25th till Wednesday, August 31st. Hurry, because you already know when they're gone, they are gone.
Babylon lock we in a cage. Want on you in a mental slave. Who no mad, them put down in a grave. But them can't get you out in a this your time. We no hype but you proud, not commit no crime. crime, and I know we gonna live it up right.
Yes, indeed. We are talking about offering hope to the young people of this country through a scholarship program that allows promising young athletes as well as football players to take advantage of a program being organized by the Marico Development Committee that allows those athletes to go overseas to the United States to first get a college education, but also on to practice their athletics. And that is one way I believe that we can go around the issue that we are having of our athletes not having access to facilities here in Dominica. But if they show enough promise, both academics and on the field, then that's an opportunity for them. And if you would like to take, if you're listening now and you're either a parent, a teacher, a sports person, or you're like Maggie who works very hard with the young people in sports, and then the number you want to use is 612-2248, 612-2248. You can send a WhatsApp to that number, 612-2248, and Mikey will be happy to talk to you further about it, okay? And we'll give this number again before the program ends. So, Mikey, I mean, there's a lot of directions that we could actually go to now, but it's 6 before the hour of 2 o'clock. And in terms of bringing the information out, I think in a way that's probably where the issue, goes. Because when we think of just there's scores of young people who graduate every year from high school. And I would like to see more of these young people take advantage of those opportunities, and that's the way, as you say, you can get a quality education, and all the school asks you to do is to contribute to them in their sports area, and they will pay your school in. And so that is something I think that our Dominican students should really try to grab with both ends.
Yeah, I mean, we think so, and we are leading by example at the front. Presently, there are 3 students from our program who are at college or university in the US using their athletic talent to get an education. Hopefully, they will also be able to perform for Dominica at various meets and the like. All right, but what we'd like to see is that more of those kind of students, that the country as a whole, relooks at this whole thing. I mean, we have situations. I mean, for example, one parent, she told me her son was the MVP of the just concluded, secondary school games in Grenada, right? He was top in everything. So I say, well, so what now? I mean, what are we going to do?
Yes,
for that student who is our MVP from the inter-school games, right? Is he going to just stay in Dominica and just pine away? Or, is it going to be important enough for us as a people that we say, okay, those students who can so perform, they deserve our help in getting to the next level of education? I mean, that is it. I mean, I'm saying maybe it's time parents say, their students, their son and daughter will not perform for school or for country until the schools and country get it right in terms of rewarding those students for those skills.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really not fair for the young people to put so much effort and energy. At the end of the day, there is nothing for them. And I'm glad that this program exists. But I also think that so much more, Mikey, needs to be done to enable our students to move forward.
I'm saying that can be done. I'm saying we are doing our small part. We are, at this juncture, offering, athletes, students with athletics and sports skills, who, at the level for attending universities and colleges, that they need to do the SAT. Then they can better, explore the options. If you're into basketball, check Wash Way out, do the SAT. If you're into track and field, we can look at some of the options there. If you're into other sports, we can also look at that. The other thing that I want to also encourage is that film. All right, a lot of times we want to help students, but there's no film. I mean, I can understand you can have somebody who's representing Dominica for years and years, under 16, under 20, under 23, and there's no film. So there's nothing to send to the coaches who are not coming here. The coaches are not coming here to scout. So they're asking you, okay, you say this kid is good, send us some film. Send us some film of their best games.
And you can't get this. Yeah, I know. I was trying to get some film of a national player for you a couple of years ago and wasn't able to do this. Let's take this caller before we end. Good afternoon, caller.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
I'm your guest. Just a bit of clarification that I called because I heard him say that all the school is asking the athletes to do is to see their talent. So I'm just asking if the schools are private schools or if it is government-run schools.
Are you referring to the schools in the United States? Okay,
The schools are private schools.
Which ones? The ones here in Dominica or in the United States?
In the United States.
In the United States, okay. Yes, she was wondering whether the schools in the U.S. are private universities or public. Is both? It's either.
Whatever. I mean, the schools, both private and public, universities and colleges are looking for talent.
Yes, and they're prepared to pay for that talent.
And they pay by giving you an education, a sports scholarship. All right. So what we try to do is try to see if we can find some of those for the students who have the ability. All right. So we're saying ability and SAT that allows us and others who are out there doing the same thing, to more better help the students.
Yeah, and the SAT, there are no special exams. Any student who've gone through a regime of high school, 5 years in Dominica, should be able to do the SATs because that's what you, if you're in the US in high school, you do to get into college. So I think it's something where our students should be well placed. And again, if they're not, then getting the extra classes for them, getting them, prepared. The MDC offers classes to prepare the students to do the SATs, and that's something that I think students need to take advantage of. So Mikey, we are just about out of time. Let me thank you for coming. Let me thank all of our callers, and just a quick final word from you.
Thompson say thanks again for having me. Just want to appeal to persons out there who are interested in doing the SAT, either for entrance in university strictly academically, or those looking to enter U.S. universities through the athletic talent. That SAT classes are available through the MDC. Forms are available at France Pastry in Roseau, at Country Style Bakery in Marigot. Please, fill out your application, sign up quickly if you're interested in pursuing colleges, university in the U.S.
All right. Thank you very much, Mikey. And let me thank all of you. We'll be back with another program tomorrow. This time it will be Matt. Let me thank all of you for joining us this afternoon. Have a good afternoon. Take care. Bye-bye.